Yes, who could forget all the memorable and lovable animal characters that James Gunn has had throughout his filmography? Rocket Raccoon, Nanaue the King Shark, Crypto the Super Dog, and of course Beasel, the profusely urinating gay cartoon cat. The honor of Worst Movie Ever Made is a truly lofty title that one usually reserves for the likes of Z-grade horror or sci-fi movies you would see on Riff Tracks or MST3K, self-made vanity projects from the likes of Neil Breen or Tommy Wiseau, or if you want to really get mean, Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie. But when January 2013 gave us the all-star cinematic sketch comedy known bafflingly as Movie 43, the results were as ominous for the future of Hollywood as the advent of any AI program. As director Peter Farrelly of the Farrelly Brothers was one of 15 directors, among which was future DC chief James Gunn, as well as the overall producer of an anthology of comedic sketches featuring some of the stage and screen's biggest stars. From Winslet to Wolverine, from future Oscar winners to former Dukes of Hazzard, all of which deal with some rather raunchy and profane subject matter that you would not expect from these once respected actors and directors. Well, except maybe for Brett Ratner. What could have been another Kentucky Fried movie is about as messy and unappetizing as a famous bowl from Kentucky Fried Chicken, with desperately unfunny jokes that prioritize shock value over comedic timing, and a whole bunch of ashamed actors who all look as if they'd rather be attending their own funerals. It's a cursed comedy crapfest whose brutal reviews are by far the funniest thing about it. And I hope you folks think the same of my own review, which I made way back in 2023 to commemorate this movie's 10th anniversary. And then after watching this video, you could switch to Amazon Prime to watch Peter Farrelly's latest comedic classic, Balls Up, starring Mark Wahlberg and Paul Walterberg.
I want to punch that dog right in the... Here I come, sausage boy! No!
From the Oscar-winning director of Green Book, and currently at a whopping 26% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is at least 21% higher than that of Movie 43. I'm Jesse Shade, and on behalf of the JoBlo YouTube network, let us prepare to kick ourselves in the chin balls as we suffer through this anthologized episode of Awfully Good Movies. The year is 2013, a time of many landmarks in pop culture history. The first episode of Orphan Black, the second Academy Award for Ben Affleck, the debuts of both Grand Theft Auto V and The Last of Us, and the beginning of Netflix's expansion into original TV shows and movies that will completely upend the film industry in the decade to come. But Hollywood was nowhere near ready for the changing times, as January 2013 saw theaters nationwide being subjected to one of the very worst movies of the 2010s, if not the entire 21st century. The crappy comedy anthology, simply titled Movie 43. This feature-length collection of 13 short comedies was overseen by the future Oscar-winning screenwriter of Dumb and Dumber 2, Peter Farrelly, who with longtime Farrelly Brothers producer Charles B. Wessler wanted to make a modern-day equivalent to John Landis's classic sketch comedy, The Kentucky Fried Movie, that would be directed alongside Farrelly by some notable comedy filmmakers, including future DC Films mastermind James Gunn and future Cocaine Bear director Elizabeth Banks, and starred a cast of big-name actors that was big enough to fill out 2 entire Knives Out mysteries. But after Movie 43 got picked up by a movie studio that would later go on to declare bankruptcy twice and nearly hire Kevin Spacey as its new chairman, the 4 years it took to put it together went up in smoke when it was released to abysmal box office numbers and some of the most brutal reviews from the film critic community in a long time.
Can I say one thing? Please. This is the biggest fucking fuck you of a movie I have ever seen.
And Peter Farrelly defensively snapped back at the movie's critics. You always complain that Hollywood never gives you new stuff, and then when you get it, you flip out. did Mr. Fairley have a point, and was movie 43 a bastion of cinematic originality that was underappreciated in its time, instead of being the supposed Citizen Kane of bad movies? And why do I keep making myself suffer like this for all of you beautiful JoBlo subscribers out there? It's bad enough that I've got to recap one bad movie per episode. Now I've got to recap 13 of them?
In a row?
Forget binge watching. My review of movie 43 may end up being the first recorded instance of purge watching. In the spirit of Peter Farrelly's latest movie, let's make the greatest beer run ever before playing another round of the awfully good drinking game. Now, for our non-American viewers, you're probably familiar with the 98-minute version of this movie, where the segments are tied together with a framing device about some punk kids who browse the internet to search for the most banned movie in the world.
It's the most dangerous film in the world.
It is.
But for now, I'm going to discuss the 94-minute American cut, which got torn apart by most of these critics in the first place. So take a shot or drink when we open on our framing segment of the movie, The Pitch, directed by Peter Farrelly. Starring Greg Kinnear as Griffin, a movie studio executive who is listening to a story pitch from esteemed screenwriter Charlie, yes, I'm named after the guy who came up with this movie, Wessler, played by Dennis Quaid.
This is a movie that is about something. It's a smart movie with heart, sort of like The Help.
I love that movie.
How ironic it is to see a movie making fun of The Help when it's from the future director of Green Book. And so begins Dennis Quaid's cabinet of crapiosities with our very first segment of his movie pitch, The Catch, also directed by Peter Farrelly. Starring Kate Winslet,
Think Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet, as a single businesswoman named Beth, preparing for a blind date with the city's most eligible bachelor named Davis, who just so happens to be on the cover of a nearby magazine to reveal himself to be Bruce Wayne. The Wolverine. God damn it, Hugh Jackman. But it turns out that the titular catch of this segment refers to the pair of testicles that swing from Davis's otherwise hunky face.
Carrie tells me you design clothes for kids.
Yes, clothes for kids are designed.
And that, as McBabe would say, is da joke. It's one simple visual gag that's funny for 3 seconds, yet draws on for an interminable 7 minutes. As Jackman discusses his life while being oblivious to the pair of Les Miserables balls that are swinging from his chin, which provide fodder for miserably paced visual gags. Uh-oh, he spilled soup on his balls. Oh no, now the balls are in the soup? How can this be? Oh, not the baby. Don't put your balls on the head of the baby. He's just a baby. And even though both the actors gamely play along with this one-note material, Hugh Jackman would later admit in a Yahoo interview with Hugh Jackman that his role in movie 43 was his most embarrassing career moment.
When they come to you with an idea of putting testicles around your neck and being part of this hilarious group and ensemble of some of the funniest movies of all time, don't believe them. The movie you could do without doing it, all right?
I just hope to God that Ryan Reynolds is not using any of this as material for the Deadpool 3 script.
You, Kevin Feige. You, MCU.
Then our first short just sort of abruptly ends without a point or punchline, just as Winslet starts getting herself a mouthful of Jackman's Loganberries.
Just a little kid.
All right.
We don't need to at all. We really...
Oh, God. Kate Winslet isn't going to make a movie with a guy who's got balls hanging off of his chin.
Well, just wait until you see the designs that James Cameron has planned for the Na'vi in his next Avatar sequel.
What is this?
It was this segment that was the very first short that Peter Farrelly made for this movie back in 2009 in order to convince the studio and the rest of the potential cast members to sign on to the movie, with many of the cast members already being friends of either Farrelly or Charlie Wessler, who would endlessly guilt their buddies until they finally agreed to do the movie. This explains why our next segment, titled Homeschooled, was able to enlist then real-life couple Liev Schreiber and Naomi Watts, as a suburban couple welcoming some new neighbors over to their house, and discussing the unconventional methods of homeschooling that they have for their teenage son, Kevin.
Kevin has a normal and complete high school experience.
It should be the unhappiest time in a boy's life.
That means that Kevin's parents recreate for him even the most awkward parts of a normal high school experience, no matter how potentially awkward or incestuous the results may be.
Emily and Cara said we should go all the way.
Ew, who convinced Ari Aster to remake Strange Thing About the Johnsons as a white family sitcom?
This is weird.
It all leads up to another wet fart of a punchline, when the seemingly normal Kevin comes to greet his family before he heads out on a date.
Jen, my mom says hi. Hello, Mrs. Miller. I'm the pretty girl.
And while Jeremy Allen White's career would thankfully survive movie 43, the marriage between Liev Schreiber and Naomi Watts was not nearly as lucky.
I'm the pretty girl.
Speaking of real-life celebrity couples that later broke up out of shame over this movie, Chris Pratt and Anna Faris star in the next short on tap, The Proposition, where their romantically blossoming characters Doug and Julie each have a wildly different question that they want to pop to each other.
1, 2...
Will you poop on me?
What? Poop?
On me.
That's right. Julie happens to be what we call a coprophiliac, who wants Doug to prove his love by dumping mud on her chest. But Doug is soon talked into his girlfriend's proposed poop play after a chat with his friend played by J.B. Smoove.
It's not about how fancy it goes in. It's about how fancy it comes out. You know what salad does? It locks down your bowels. Have a few fucking drinks. Makes you last longer.
This has got to be the worst Heineken commercial I've ever seen. Doug prepares in the bathroom by loading up on tacos and burritos with a swig of the same laxative that Lloyd used on Harry in Dumb and Dumber.
Poop Viagra. Yeah.
And somehow Chris Pratt is embarrassing himself more with this performance than he did with that TikTok bee stunt. No wonder Anna Faris dumped this guy's ass before he could dump his ass on her.
Baby, what was I wearing?
A yellow sundress. Come on, roll over and let me shit on you, please.
So he's an idiot.
But as Julie runs away in tears from Doug after saying shit instead of poop, he's run over by a car and his bowels finally let loose all over the street to make it look, as Star-Lord would say, like a Jackson Pollock painting.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, Doug.
Meeting's over.
Unfortunately, neither this meeting or the movie are anywhere near over, as Charlie reveals to Griffin that he's in far more dire financial straits than he's been letting on.
How did you get on the lot?
I sucked off the security guard. He fought me every step of the way. You call anybody, and I will shoot you in the heart and kill you.
Come on now, Dennis, put that gun away. I would expect this behavior out of your brother Randy, but certainly not you. Well, I guess both the audience and Greg Kinnear are forced to endure the next segment, titled Veronica, starring a pre-Cruella Emma Stone as the titular Veronica, who's come by to pay a visit to her ex-boyfriend Neil, played by a pre-Succession Kieran Culkin, while he's working as a bored grocery store clerk during the night shift, and accidentally broadcasts his erotic confrontation with Veronica all over the store's PA system.
I can't believe you named your dog Veronica.
I can't believe you sucked off that hobo for magic bean.
He was a wizard, Neil.
If you get any sort of smile or chuckle out of this short, it's on behalf of Culkin and Stone's commitment to their erotically purple prose.
Do you still like fingers in your butthole?
You know the answer is yes.
I'll see you in church.
Okay, see you there.
But then the short ends on a narrative shrug. The store's customers who have gotten horny listening to these two lovebirds volunteer to take over the kids' shift so that Roman Roy can go take Gwen Stacy to Pound Town.
Are we gonna let that foxy little thing run out of this boy's life? No.
Thank you.
And don't forget your Uncle Frank's advice to go easy on the Pepsi, unless she's got a fetish for that sort of thing like the girl in the last short. Then there's an iPod commercial parody with a naked lady. Who cares? We now move on to superhero speed dating, a segment which stars Justin Long as Robin the Boy Wonder, as he takes part in a Gotham City speed dating event where who should show up to get in on the action but Batman, played by Jason Sudeikis, whose portrayal of the Dark Knight is less Robert Pattinson and more Schmitty from Always Sunny.
You're here to ruin my chances with women, like you do all the time.
No way, brother. Get one more speed date, okay? Then we gotta find that bomb.
In fact, since James Gunn is one of the other directors on this movie, I'll just erroneously assume that this is his alternate cast lineup for his future DC movie plans. We'll have Uma Thurman returning to the DC universe as the new Lois Lane, and somehow getting worse jokes to crack here than anything she ever said as Poison Ivy.
masturbating. Blew his wad all over my window. His jizz is like a shotgun blast.
I guarantee he blows a load like a shotgun right through her back.
Next, there's Bobby Cannavale as the new Superman, who apparently reigns from the Brooklyn part of Krypton.
I don't give two super shits about a bomb. Stay away from Lois.
Kristen Bell will now be taking over the part of Supergirl, only to quickly resign after Batman compares her vagina to a cornfield.
You can hear him.
Yeah, I can hear him.
At any moment, shoeless Joe Jackson could walk out of it and I could play catch with him.
And John Hodgman will be replacing Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Holy God, what are you showing me? Hey, come on! Open your eyes!
And let's not forget Leslie Bibb as our new Wonder Woman, whose jokes about aborting Batman's baby sound as if they came from the writing staff of Velma.
Going to Planned Parenthood by yourself?
Roe v. Wade here at a speed dating situation.
Look, I honestly doubt that DC even approved their characters for this short, because it's gotta be the worst film out of this entire bunch. The aggressively unfunny jokes feel like an improv exercise gone wrong, the costumes look like they were bought over at Party City, and it happens to be a remake of a YouTube short that also had Justin Long as Robin, but Sam Rockwell in the part of Batman.
Try no thing.
They couldn't even show the superheroes' logos in this movie's promotional material. Oh, and Supergirl was secretly the Riddler in disguise this entire time, played by Paul Dano's drug-addicted cousin, Bookham Dano. Well, thank God that neither Jason Sudeikis or Bobby Cannavale will be returning for Batman vs. Superman.
Hey, save Martha over here! What are you, Ted Lasso all of a sudden?
Thankfully, the movie's worst short is followed by its best short, Machine Kids, a fake PSA about being considerate towards the children who secretly hide inside society's various forms of machines.
Machines. They're full of kids.
Finally, a genuinely and absurdly funny segment that does not overstay its welcome. Even though our movie has not bothered to explain why Dennis Quaid's movie pitch is actually just a bunch of unconnected shorts with some commercials in between.
So what do you think about putting commercials within the movie? I haven't even told you about the shorts that are gonna win us the Oscar!
Oh well, on to the next film, iBabe. Yes, that stupid iPod parody from earlier was the lead-in for this story, about a clueless tech CEO played by Richard Gere who arranges a meeting with some of his staff, Asif Manvi, Jack McBrayer, and Kate Bosworth, about an epidemic of kids sticking their Johnsons and fingers inside this iBabe's exhaust port, resulting in major lawsuits against the company.
Our goal is to eliminate step 2 and step 3.
You did extensive testing here. Did you anticipate anybody breaching the cooling system?
Kids' dicks are getting horribly mangled.
Boy howdy, can you tell that Richard Gere did everything he could to get out of appearing in this segment. He looks like he's mentally off in the spirit world meditating alongside the Dalai Lama, and he's clearly being filmed in a different place than the rest of the Shutterstock image casting session over here. So this sketch's big punchline is that they just re-released the same iBabe, now as a black woman.
A choice of color.
Just when I thought it couldn't get more offensive.
With a new warning label against sticking your dick in it.
Now I understand.
Ugh, is it too much to hope for Richard Gere to reprise his character as one of the victims in the next Megan sequel?
Give them the old...
But unlike Richard Gere, a number of attached directors were able to jump ship off of this flick while they still could. David and Jerry Zucker, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and Peter Farrelly's own brother Bobby, as well as George Clooney, whose proposed sketch involving Clooney being bad at picking up women had him say in response,
"No fucking way."
But it was yes fucking way for Elizabeth Banks, who in addition to starring in a later sketch, now makes her film directing debut with our next sketch, Middle School Date, starring Chloe Grace Moretz as an awkward preteen on a date with a boy named Nathan, whose obnoxious big brother Mikey, played by Moretz's kick-ass co-star Christopher Mintz-Plasse, has been tasked to look over Nathan during his big date, and Amanda having her period in the middle of this date,
there's a big red stain,
sets up this sketch's one joke.
Holy shit, you are covered in blood!
That none of the men in the room know what to do about the girl's perfectly normal menstruation cycle.
Nathan's date is on her period for the first time, and she's bleeding everywhere.
Please help me! It's just your period.
Mom's gonna have some tampons around here somewhere, right? Oh, we're just gonna have to plug it up.
This also applies to their parents, with both the great Patrick Warburton and the equally great Matt Walsh popping up in this movie to fight over who was the funnier supporting actor on a Julia Louis-Dreyfus sitcom.
Disgusting. I mean, congratulations, young lady. What the hell kind of sick family squashes a large tomato in my daughter's pants?
Look, I'm just a regular 7th grade girl getting my period, and it really sucks that it had to be in front of all you idiots.
Wow, that really makes you think about the message this short is trying to impart about women's health in this.
Oh, Dad, that was epic.
Oh, well, never mind. I guess it's just another stupid fart joke for us then.
Vagina is way too complicated.
Let's hope Elizabeth Banks doesn't include this many periods in her next directorial effort. I hear that cocaine bears can smell the menstruation! We cut back to the framing segment where Seth MacFarlane drops by as himself.
I'm in a meeting with Mike Meldman and Seth MacFarlane
to pitch some dumb Holocaust jokes to Greg Kinnear's manager, Bob Monet, played here by Common.
So grow up here and buy the fucking thing. You're a gutless yes man and you've always been too much of a pussy to test the boundaries.
Who is utterly miscast here in a sleazy Hollywood executive role that would be more appropriate for Paul Giamatti.
You really are Seth fucking MacFarlane, the Family Guy. And that music is better than words album? I mean, who knew?
And just when you thought that plug for Seth MacFarlane's album was the most shameless moment of this movie.
No, Seth, please, why don't you grab a guitar and log back on the band fuse? You on the Jimmy Page level.
We've now got some obscene product placement for the surely to be popular video game Band Fuse Rock Legends. A totally unique gaming experience that isn't like any other video game franchise that was previously seen in this movie, where you'll be forced to see our logo up on screen during your gameplay unless you pay for the $150 Seth MacFarlane DLC Season Pass.
Freaking swingers!
Band Fuse! The movie keeps marching on to nowhere with its next segment, Happy Birthday, from Rush Hour trilogy director and future sex pervert Brett Ratner. This one stars reunited Dukes of Hazzard Johnny Knoxville and Sean William Scott as two friendly roommates, Pete and Brian, the former of whom just got a very special gift for Brian down in the basement for his buddy's birthday.
Happy birthday.
You kidnapped an Irish midget.
An actual captured leprechaun, played with the help of bad CGI and a little person double by a foul-mouthed Gerard Butler.
I'm gonna cut off your balls and feed them to you. The last thing you'll ever see is my cock. Start fucking you! It's my crusty Irish pig!
Oh, let that little guy go already. That leprechaun's gotta get back to the hood. And when Pete obtains the leprechaun's fabled pot of gold, out of it pops the leprechaun's gun-toting twin brother, played also by Gerard Butler.
Shove me in my nipples!
Taste perfect steel! Walk to the rainbow! Yeah!
What?
I hope we know better next time than to let Martin McDonagh direct a Lucky Charms commercial. Not to worry though, there is another far less murderous mythical creature that Knoxville snatched up for his buddy's birthday.
Who is she? She's a fairy.
I suck cock for gold coins.
Don't worry about canceling Brett Ratner over that sexist punchline. He's way ahead of you there. Now what are we doing in this framing segment? Greg Kinnear's using his pistol to threaten his manager over sleeping with his wife. Will Sasso is getting dragged into this mess now as the aforementioned security guard for the studio.
Blow the security guard, I'm gonna kill you!
Dennis Quaid better get his ass in here and smooth tensions over with yet another short from his script, Truth or Dare. The third segment to be directed by Peter Farrelly, about another filthy-minded blind date, this time between Stephen Merchant and Halle Berry as Donald and Emily, who spice up their date with a game of Truth or Dare that goes from innocent fun to some most outrageous extremes.
See that man with the black jacket? I dare you to go and pinch his ass.
Do what, like? Fuck! I did, sorry. You thought you my fucking ass!
Oh, how provocative! What are these two gonna do next? Blow out a blind kid's birthday cake? Strip at a bachelorette party? Make guacamole using one of their boobs? Shoving a dropper of extra hot sauce inside of their Catwoman? Bringing Snooki on for a cameo which surely won't be dated a decade from now? Getting their faces injected with a buttload of Botox? Getting plastic surgery to permanently look like Michael Scott's awkward Asian impersonation?
You're sweet, really. I'm just not that attracted to Asian men.
Why, Berry and Merchant do all of this and more in this short. Man, I never thought that the sight of Halle Berry flashing her boobs would make me feel nothing. And yet, here we are.
It's too offensive to the Asians.
Finally, this Dennis Quaid subplot comes to a predictably disappointing conclusion. Common shoots off his own gun at Greg Kinnear. Kinnear's blood squibs go off prematurely, and Peter Farrelly himself comes from behind the camera to make this movie go full meta.
Hey, Pete, isn't this a movie about a bunch of shorts?
Yeah?
Ah, now it all makes sense as to why these actors look particularly ashamed to be in this segment. Because this shit was clearly put together at the last minute to replace the original framing device that test audiences hated from the international cut. I think that version is just as stupid as the American one, with a plot about these kids on the internet accidentally setting off a Cold War era nuclear program and failing to heed their future selves' advice to stop the movie 43 induced apocalypse. But at least Fisher Stevens pops up to collect himself a paycheck, and having these kids find these shorts on the internet makes more sense of their disconnected nature from one another. As for Peter Farrelly's half-assed substitute, these segments put together could very well be the laziest and unfunniest movie that either he or his brother has ever directed. And keep in mind, I've seen Dumb and Dumber 2.
He's hooked on crack. Fuck you.
Thank God we're in the home stretch with the first of the only two shorts that bothered to make a title card, Victory's Glory. Starring Terrence Howard as the coach to an all-black high school basketball team in the late 50s, who are the first team of color to compete for the state title.
There's 10,000 white people out there that think that we ain't good enough.
But like any good coach in a sports movie, Coach Jackson has some inspirational advice for his young players.
You're gonna win. Plain and fucking simple. They're white, you're black, they're white. You're black, they're white. This ain't hockey!
What could have been a promising parody of inspirational black sports dramas that one would expect from the director of Tales from the Hood is instead just the same black men are good at basketball joke that's been beaten into the ground by 80s stand-up comedians.
He gave you a 1.5 foot dick. Dribble with that motherfucker. Cut that goddamn slow clap shit out.
If they really wanted to have Terrence Howard say something funny, then he should have played a physics teacher at this high school, instead of a basketball coach.
All energy in the universe is expressed in motion. All motion is expressed in waves. All waves are curved, so where does the straight lines come from to make the platonic solids?
And with this end credits blooper reel, the creators of movie 43 seem to be promising us that the ending of this film is finally near.
Don't believe him.
Except for the 13th and final short of movie 43, Beasel, written and directed by James Gunn, 1 year before his first movie at Marvel Studios set him on the path to his current reign as co-CEO of DC Studios. It stars Elizabeth Banks and Josh Duhamel as Amy and Anson, a seemingly ideal couple whose love is interrupted by Anson's seemingly jealous pet cartoon cat, Beasel.
I just don't think he likes me very much.
Oh, come on, Amy. He loves you.
And wouldn't you know it, this cat is indeed so loving of his master that Amy catches him pounding it to shirtless pictures of him. And Beasel bears his claws against the woman moving in on his man in zany cartoon fashion.
He is not a normal cat. He just put a fucking thermometer in his mouth.
He thinks it's a toy.
This short just feels like James Gunn took one of his problematic Twitter jokes that got him unjustly fired by Disney and adapted it into movie form. As he says, it was Elizabeth Banks who talked him into making a short for this movie and wasn't even allowed to edit the final film.
Dick-loving devil cat!
But at least the final short of movie 43 does have the best ending out of this bunch, when Amy beats the cat in front of a birthday party full of sobbing children.
He's already dead!
Who soon pull a Hunger Games on an actress from the Hunger Games, complete with a plastic knife to her brain. Even back then, James Gunn had a talent for making some good end credit stingers, a skill that will serve him well in his new job. Now, when the hell is he finally going to confirm the casting of Beasel the Gay Cat as the new Black Adam? Out of a proposed 60 scripts, these 12 main shorts were somehow the best ones that Farrelly and Wessler picked out of the bunch, with 2 other shorts that didn't make it to either cut of the movie. The first, Find Our Daughter, is directed by Saul Goodman himself, Bob Odenkirk, with Julianne Moore and Tony Shalhoub starring as a pair of worried parents who tell of how a private investigator helped to find their daughter through her boob-flashing appearance on a Girls Gone Wild video. You can find it on the film's Blu-ray if you're interested. But the second deleted sketch, The Apprentice, starring the late great Anton Yelchin as a mortician's apprentice, isn't available to watch in its entirety anywhere. Probably because it's about the necrophiliac Anton Yelchin having sex with what he thinks to be a dead body.
The fuck, man?
May Anton Yelchin rest in peace, and may Movie 43 roast deeply in hell. Surprisingly, the humor in Movie 43 is less offensive than the fact that it got widely released in movie theaters. It doesn't even qualify as a movie. It's just a bunch of rejected Funny or Die shorts that are all die and no funny, with foul-mouthed gross-out humor that either tries too little or too hard, and a bunch of respectable actors and comedians who should know far better. Trust me when I say that the story about this film's production and its hilariously brutal reviews are the funniest things about Movie 43, while the film itself is a deservedly forgotten chapter of bad movie history. And you wanna know the worst part, folks? It wasn't even the worst sketch comedy movie with some big-name celebrity cameos to come out in theaters that year.
Go ahead. Make me gay.
Oh, fuck you.
On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, Movie 43 is sadly not named after the number of laughs it'll obtain from the audience. And I give both cuts of this flick a Kentucky Fried rating of 1 out of 43. If you want an actually hilarious flick that's just like Funny or Die, go watch the movie that's actually made by Funny or Die instead. I'm Jesse Shade for JoBlo.com, and thanks again for watching this very special episode of our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the JoBlo Originals channel. Tell all your friends who like this sort of content, and turn on the bell to receive notifications for all our latest videos. We are an independent company that appreciates all of your support. And after having just reviewed 13 shitty movies in a row, I can say only one thing.
Please.
If every living thing took a shit on the planet Earth, this would be it.
Nasty doo-doo.
Nasty doo-doo. Nastiest nasty.
No.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.